All right, today we're tackling a really ambitious investing strategy. It's called sector rotation, and it's all about trying to master the art of market timing. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could know with certainty which part of the market was about to boom? What if you could get in right before it takes off and just ride that wave? Well, that is the incredible, powerful promise behind sector rotation. So, what are we actually talking about here? Well, at its heart, sector rotation is a super active strategy. This is not buy and hold forever. Nope. It's all about shifting your money around, moving it into specific economic sectors, like tech or energy or healthcare, right before you think they're about to outperform everything else. It really is all about trying to be in the right place at the right time. There's a really great way to think about this. It's kind of like changing your clothes for the seasons, right? You're not going to wear a huge winter parka in the middle of July. It just doesn't make sense. And that's the same idea here. You're trying to adjust your investment portfolio for the economic forecast, making sure what you own matches the current season of the economy. Okay, so to pull this off, you need a playbook. And for sector rotation, that playbook is the economic cycle. Seriously, understanding how it works is the absolute key to this whole thing. So here's the fundamental belief behind it all. The economy isn't just a straight line up. It moves in waves, right? It expands, it contracts, it has a rhythm. And as it goes through these different phases, certain types of companies or sectors tend to take the lead. The whole goal is to get ahead of those shifts. Okay, so this is basically the game plan all laid out. Look, when the economy is just starting to expand and grow, you've got sectors like technology and what's called consumer discretionary doing really well. Think about it. That's when people are buying new gadgets, going on vacation. But then as that growth gets a bit older, the focus shifts. Now things like energy and materials start to take over. And when a recession hits, well, people get scared. They look for safety. So they pile into what are called defensive sectors, utilities and consumer staples. These are the things we have to buy no matter what, right? Like electricity and toothpaste. And then finally, as we start to climb out of that recession, tech and financials often lead the charge back. So the theory sounds pretty cool, right? But how on earth does a regular person actually do this? Well, it used to be crazy difficult, but things have changed a lot. Yeah, for the longest time, trying to buy into one specific part of the market was super complicated and honestly pretty expensive. But then came the rise of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and they were a complete game changer. See, these things trade just like a stock, but they let you buy or sell an entire sector with just one click. Suddenly, this complex strategy became way, way more accessible to everybody. So on paper, the process looks almost deceptively simple. Step 1. Figure out where the economy is going next. Step 2, look at the playbook and see which sectors should do well. And step 3, use those ETFs to buy the winners and dump the losers. I mean, it sounds easy, right? Maybe a little too easy. So let's see how this actually works in the real world. All right, so far this whole sector rotation thing sounds pretty amazing, almost like a guaranteed way to crush the market. But we need a reality check. Now we have to talk about what it's really like to try and do this. This is where the clean, neat theory crashes into our messy, unpredictable world. And listen, that's not just my opinion. That's a direct quote from serious market analysis. And I gotta tell you, that one sentence might be the single most important thing to understand if you're even thinking about this strategy. So let's really dig into why it's so incredibly hard. You know that simple 3-step process we just walked through? Yeah, well, each one of those steps is basically a minefield. That perfect, predictable cycle you see on a chart almost never plays out that cleanly in real life. So let's just run through the biggest hurdles here. First off, trying to forecast the economy? The smartest economists on the planet get that wrong all the time. It's incredibly hard. Second, even if you get the direction right, getting the timing perfect is just a whole other level of difficult. You're a few days early, a few days late, you can miss the entire move. Then you've got the costs. All that buying and selling means transaction fees start to pile up, and don't even get me started on the tax implications. And maybe the biggest one of all, history isn't a guarantee. The playbook that worked last time might not work at all this time around. Okay, so we've seen the exciting potential, and we've seen the serious challenges. So what's the verdict here? Is this something you should actually try, or is there a better way to go? I think this really lays out the two different paths you can take. On one side, you've got active sector rotation. The goal there is huge. You're trying to beat the market, but it comes with high risk, and honestly, it's an expert level game. Then you've got the other side, long-term diversification. That's just buying a bit of everything and holding on. The goal isn't to beat the market, but to grow with it. The risk is more moderate, and it's something anyone can do.
And this really gets to the heart of it. When you look at the evidence, the key takeaway is pretty clear. For most of us, for the vast majority of investors, trying to play this timing game is probably a losing bet compared to just staying diversified for the long haul.
So I guess I'll just leave you with this to think about. Sector rotation, it's this super tempting game of skill and prediction. The payoff for getting it right is huge. But the real question you have to ask yourself is this: is that potential prize for being perfect really worth the price you'll almost certainly pay when you get it wrong?